This is me, Marcus Aristotle Allen, aka Fat Man to all my childhood friends. I'm not sure when it happened. I'm not even quite sure I was aware when it happened. All I know is that somehow, some way, I became an adult. The words of the Apostle Paul stand out in my head. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away my childish things. And you know what? Paul was right. A lot of things I did as a child while growing up in Southwest Atlanta, I put away as an adult. But there were two things I never stopped doing. One, believing in Jesus Christ as my salvation. And two, bringing that fire. What is fire, you ask? Well, Webster's dictionary defines fire as the phenomenon of combustion manifested in light, flames, and heat. But fire, to me, this is when you dancing to a song that you love, and you become one with the beat, and you can feel the flames burning in your belly. You start down there glowing. I thought it was only right to let some of the people who shared this common bond of fire explain to you the real ATL style. These are real dances that really did it. They are authentic. Nothing fake, watered down about these people. I break it down into two phases. You had first generation, and then you had second generation. First generation, these are the individuals who started and formed and developed the techniques we use to this day. And that's from around 1986 to about 1990. Then there's second generation, from like 1990 to like 94, 95. Second generation built our first generation, and we perfected the style. We took it to a whole nother level, worked out the kinks, you know. But without first generation, we lost. And with every technique and style, you have to credit with somebody or a group. And it seems like all roads lead back to Chris Chapman. But as you see, everybody has a story, and everybody's story should be told. These are only but a few. These are the people, and these are the stories.
This is Boone. My name is David Armstrong, aka
My name Korey, but back in the day, my obsession days just called me Korey.
My name is Larry Blue. Everybody knows me as Blue. Dance with 911.
My name is Ron Foster, better known as 12.
Born and raised in Atlanta. Been here all my life. I'm fifth generation on my mom's side, born in Atlanta. So my Atlanta roots go way, way, way back.
Originally from Atlanta, the heart of Atlanta, Perry homes. Migrated out to Decatur, back and forth, down to Decatur, down.
Pretty much from Atlanta. Now, I was born in Texas though. My dad's in the military, did a lot of moving around, moved up north, and came down south. I've been here since I was 10. I'm 36 now.
Born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia.
I always liked to dance since I was a little kid, you know what I'm saying? My mom and my father, big into music, heavy into music always playing in the house. Me and my brothers would just dance around. I think most kids do that, especially if you grow up in a house that's filled with music like we did. But I think what really got me into dancing in terms of like really loving it and not just playing around with it was, I think the same thing for most people, was Michael Jackson. You know, he hit in the 80s. I was just gone on dancing, you know what I'm saying? I had my Michael Jackson game up pretty good, you know what I'm saying? I was the best in my neighborhood at it, like, nobody couldn't touch me. Kind of even to this day, my Michael Jackson is still on point, you know?
80s, man. It was cool, I went to Easton Elementary from College Park. Went to Easton Elementary, man, hung out around Welcome All Park as a kid, doing my thing around there. Back then, a lot of things we got into, like, as far as dance was concerned, hanging out. Break dance was like the thing too.
Growing up in the 80s, it was probably one of the best times. Real music was going on, family was going on. I was playing football into that real strong. I lived on Camel Road in Eastwood Townhouses. Everybody know about that Wicked from Decatur. You know how it goes down over there. I got into dancing, break dancing. Matter of fact, I was doing popping with a group called Floor Patrol.
In the 80s, like for me, it was really about just sports and dancing. Every neighborhood I stayed in, when breakdancing was big, we were either breakdancing on tile, kitchen tile outside, or we was playing sports in the street.
Growing up in Atlanta, it was fun. You know what I'm saying? We moved a lot growing up, and things really got crunk when we moved to the city of Atlanta. You know, when my mom and dad were still together, we lived in Smyrna, different parts. My dad was not born in Atlanta; he's from Ohio. And so he really, but my mom was born here, raised in Ohio, but came down here every summer, spent a lot of time out here, and finally moved back when she was 17. But she was more used to Atlanta than my father was. It was a whole different world for him, small town Ohio, coming to Atlanta. But to my mom, it wasn't none. So they ripped and ran all over the A. She still tells me stories to this day about what Atlanta was like. But when we were born, we were living out in Smyrna, different places. And but like I said, it really got crunk when we moved to the city of Atlanta, off Cleveland Avenue, Brandywine Apartments, off Mount Zion Road, and that's when it got real, so to speak.
Give and take, there were a lot of struggles. I mean, I don't want it to sound cliche, but I mean, just like I wouldn't say any black family, but a majority of black families, especially ones that migrated from the heart of Atlanta, there was a lot of labor struggle.
Back in '84, when I was in the 8th grade, I kind of got jumped into the game, being that a couple of my partners taught me how to pop, and I just watched them, emulated them, and got good at it. So being in Decatur taught me a lot. Living in Eastwick taught me a lot as far as the dance scene too.
I'm talking about to the point we pulled out a car, blowing boxes, and put them out in the driveway. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, we pretty much did that and kind of checking out all that stuff.
Well, I always liked dancing. I used to do, cabbage patch and all that. But I think it was like 1989, 90. I had went to a talent show. So I was a cab. And I mean, two groups that stood out. And it was Obsession and Yes. And I remember standing in the gym, just looking around at the reaction they was getting from the crowd. And that was right being outside. This is what I'm finna do. I'm finna form me a group, and I'm finna start getting out.
The way I got introduced to this style of dancing was I went to Towers High School, and there were very few preps at the school. And I mean prep, as far as the style that was dressed. And at Towers, the preps used to dance, and there was very few of them. And one of the guys was one of my best friends, Rico. We were preps, and we used to dance, and we saw it a little bit from some older cats, but we used to mimic what they did, and we felt like we had to dance, but that's what the prep guys did, they danced. So every morning before school, and actually this was like at the end of my elementary school days, every morning before school we would cut on Planet Rock, and we would always walk it to the side and geek, but we only did that because that's what we seen.
First, got introduced to the ATL style of dance, being in talent shows, coming from the breakdancing era, because I did that from 83 on to 85. I came out of that transition, and how I did was going to a Columbia High School talent show and saw a group called FDC, and FDC with Divine Stevens, and everybody knows that he's the big name choreographer that's done TLC and a lot of different groups that have been out there now. And Fresh-O-Matic, they were another crew that were just real grimy with the dance style, and it wasn't anything dealing with break dancing, it was more street. And I was like, wow, this is dope. So I got with a couple of guys that I break dance with, and we started pretty much emulating what these guys did, but we put our own little twist on it. So it became more, as opposed to the ATL, just more jazzy style dancing, we put more street, more crunk onto it. And the crunk part comes from just that energy, just, you go into a whole different place of just energy. So, that's when I basically was introduced to it, just watching those two groups, FBC and Fresh-O-Matic, and there was a few other groups out there, crowd pleasers as well. You know, those guys really helped me to see, like, man, this is a cool style of dancing that can go places. So yeah, that's pretty much when I got introduced to the game on that level.
So then as time progressed, you know, people still break dance and doing their thing, but I had my next door neighbor. His name was Marcus Jameson. Cat, you know, he was in with the Baby Stray Cats. You know, everybody had a little dye in their hair and all this stuff. What they do. And so anyway, one day I checked him out. One day, him and his buddies were next door practicing dancing and stuff. And I seen him doing some dance moves and slapping their knee and moving and something. I'm like, what the jump was doing? Man, what's that? And so, man, we skating. Skating? What do you mean skating? They're like, well, you know, we stepping. Like, what does that mean? You know, back then, man, everybody had like little tree torns. Everybody dyed their tree torns or little thing. So I didn't really too much know how to dance. I mean, I did like a little break dance and a little bit here and there, but I was stiff. I didn't really too much know nothing. So I was like, hey man, teach me that stuff. Couldn't. So you couldn't teach me that stuff.
I can tell you exactly how I got introduced to it. So, you know, growing up heavy into Michael Jackson. But I remember one day in the apartments I grew up in, Brandywine Apartments, over off Cleveland Avenue on Mount Zion Road, Zone 3. Behind the rental office, it was a basketball court. So it was like asphalt, and it had two poles up, but they never had baskets on them. So nobody ever played basketball back there, but it was just like a asphalt, like a basketball court. And I seen some dudes, some older kids from my hood. This was 1987 probably. And I seen they had a radio out, you know, boombox or whatever. And it was maybe like 3 or 4 of them. And I don't remember all who it was, but I know one of them was Tommy. Tall kid that lived in our apartments. He was older than me. Cool, you know what I'm saying? Bow-legged, like all the girls liked him, whatever. And he was back there with some dudes. And everybody was watching. And they was doing a routine, like all of them was doing the same thing. That's all I remember though, because it was so amazing what they was doing. I was just blown away. I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, I never seen nothing like this in my life. But it wasn't breaking. It was, because, you know, we all used to break. Everybody used to, you know, get the little car, you know, in the apartments, get the cardboards out, you know, all that. But then that was probably a few years before. But this was like 1987. So breaking had kind of died down, b-boy and whatever. So it wasn't that, and it wasn't popping, like they wasn't popping, they wasn't locking, it wasn't that either. It was just something I had never seen before. Like 3 or 4 guys to the music, all doing the same thing. You know, I was just like, what the hell is this?
You know, going to Jelly, because I go check them out in the dance crew, they doing their thing, jumping around, everybody matching, got a little stuff on, got the treats on, different colors and stuff, and they doing a little dance, but I didn't know this, so I'm just standing around the crowd just looking, like, damn, tight, man, I don't want to do that, you know. And so I went to him one day, I said, hey man, Marcus, man, look, I pay some money, man, you teach me, man, you know, I'm like, I give you $5, man, you teach me some stuff. Now back then, you know, in the 80s, dude, $5, that's some money, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, you know, he was like, nah, he still wouldn't do it. And so, you know, pretty much from that, man, I started going to different places, hanging out, going around, and I guess just pretty much just talking about the late 80s for me, you know, kind of going into that. I guess kind of moving forward, man, just pretty much going to clubs, going to the little parties and going to different things. And so I had a friend of mine down the street from me. I'm still trying to get down this whole time. I'm still not a great dancer. I'm still looking around. So anyway, man, my buddy Macon Ramsey, you know, he lived down the street from me. And, you know, we played baseball together. And I talked about that. He's like, oh yeah, man, I know how to do that stuff. So me, Alan Boat Knight, Quincy Childress, all these little neighborhood guys trying to get this style of doing this thing. We run around, slap my knee and yeet it up or whatever. And so, you know, we got a little group together. We was all right. We wasn't all that.
And again, we didn't have a name for the group, but it was only 6 of us that joined. And we practiced. And we had an inside scoop to get to Thomas, one of the godfathers, one of the best dancers I've ever seen in my life. And we had an inside scoop to get to Thomas. Raw had the connection. And we went over to Thomas' house one night. It was like 3, 4 in the morning. We went to his house, and you know, anybody that had anything to do with dancing that met Thomas, you know about the basement. We went to Thomas' basement. We wanted to just see Thomas dance, and he actually wanted to see us dance because we were younger, second generation. And so Thomas put us under his wing for a while, and it was like a hidden potion that he was mixing up. And so weeks later, Thomas came to us and told us we were going to be off session 2. So from that point on, that was basically like a lifestyle. It wasn't even a group. It was more like a brotherhood and a lifestyle, because to this day, 2012, we still have the OB family.
When we first started, the first group, it was me, cousin Rod, Ken, and everybody. We just jumped out there. We didn't know what we were doing, and we did South Cab Junction and Nixon. We didn't get booed and nothing, but just it didn't go the way we thought it was. So that was another person. We gotta get back to that.
So I was going to Avondale High School at this time. I didn't really know anybody who danced, really. But I wanted to get into it. But somehow I met this guy, Ken Strozier. And I remember, we battled in the bathroom. He kind of ate me up too, to be honest, because I was never really good at just freestyling, just going off the dome. And I always admired that in people that could just hit it right there. I could do the routines, I could do the moves, but I wasn't really the best. Maybe because I would get a little nervous or whatever, but I wasn't one of the best that could just, at the drop of a dime, just do my thing and like battle. You know what I'm saying? So he probably got me in that little battle in the bathroom. Got with my homeboy Rod Jones, and somehow I don't really remember. My memory is fuzzy on it, but me, Rod, Ken, and Rod's cousin Kool-Aid went to Reed at the time. We formed a group. I don't remember what was the name of our group. I can't remember the first name of our group. There you go. We was called First Impression. That was my first group, and we went to. This was Southwest High School's talent show of 1990, I believe. I still remember what we had on. We came out there with them jackets with the. It was like a long kind of trench coat kind of jacket with a hood on it and drawstrings, and it had like solid color, like 4 or 5 solid colors on it. It's sold as hell now when you think about it. But at that time we thought, this was the cross colors era. Cross colors, Damage, Paco, all that soul ass shit. But at the time that was fine, so we had them jackets on, and I think under it we had on like some Georgetown Hoyas shirts or whatever, So we came out, we did our thing. We weren't that good, we weren't as good as, we were young. It was our first time doing it. We looked up to the older guys that had been doing it before us, the Obsessions, the Two Crucials. Matter of fact, I think Two Crucial might have won that show or they came in first runner up or something. I was so enamored with Two Crucial that, they was just a rush to me at that time. I don't think I really knew who Obsession was at that time.
Everybody catch it, we give it up. So then it was our turn to go. So now next thing me and Naked started walking to the side. We came back, started going. I looked back. He stopped dancing. So I'm out there by myself. Like, alright, so I keep going, I don't stop. I come to yeek it up. Nobody catches it. Everybody just standing there just looking at me. And so then one day, we went by Mike's house. Mike come out and practice with us. Now I said this time progressing in the 90s. And so we went by there, and I'm like, okay, this dude's alright, so he dancing, doing his thing. So then we got down another dude named TJ. And TJ from MLK, we got down with him. Then we got down his cousin Mans. We were like a bunch, it was about like 8 of us. I don't even remember the other guys. So we started practicing. Off of Camp Creek. There's some apartments over there, trying to dance and get together. So we was alright. But we doing our little thing here, right?
The first group that I danced with in '85. When I first got introduced to the ATL style of dance was called Alpha Phi Preps. And we came in from the style of dance called prepping. And we formatted it into more of a street style. We did a lot of drill team type moves, sequence type moves, yeet moves. We did more height moves with routines, and we incorporated popping a little bit into it. So it elevated from something basic to something intricate.
When we first started dancing, first I didn't know how much work it would take, how hard it was. And you used to run my mama crazy because that was the lab. We used to get down to my mama's house. And she'd put us out every now and then. We used to run all over to our tree house, of course. And we started getting into it, man. That's how it was.
A lab. A lab is a place where you go into, it's not your conventional where you got, all the stuff that you need to create something. And as far as the dance lab, and what we say in Atlanta is, it could be a basement. It could be outside somebody's garage. It could be in a parking lot. You know, back then we didn't dance with mirrors. We didn't have mirrors. We just had each other. We critiqued each other's moves and, you know, made it. I appreciate it now. You know, mirrors is more so. If I didn't have to have mirrors, I wouldn't, because I'm so used to teaching or being taught without the mirror. So that lab is that place you go into and you just create. You go and just vibe off each other. You make moves up and you add to it here, take away there, and in that lab, when you go into it, you in there 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day. That's how we lab back in the day. It wasn't going in 2 hours and piecing out. We was in there almost half a day, especially getting out of school. We would get out of school 3:45. We were labbing at 9, 10 o'clock at night, coming up with routines, you know, and being in that lab, or labbing, as we say, is creating. We labbing. We in the lab labbing. So, you know, that's the terminology as far as that. You know, like I said, it could be a basement. We did it in the basement. You know, we did it outside on the street. You know, just people coming around like, man, these guys here doing their thing outside on concrete, no wooden floors. You know what I mean? No wooden floors at all. Concrete, sometimes in dirt. It just, you know, wherever we felt the need to lab, that's what we did. That's how we called it. That's where we called it. So, yeah, that's the meaning of what the lab is. It could be, back then it was the basement, street, you know, outside.
The lab for us was Ken's backyard. His mom had a screened-in porch, and we called it the laboratory. So, of course, that's the lab is short for laboratory. So when we were going to the lab, we were going to create. We was going to practice. And we was going to lab, meaning we was going to dance, but we was going to the lab, meaning the spot that we were dancing in. So again, that word is a substitute for however you want to use it. But me talking to you or any other dancer at the time, however I use the word, you will automatically know what it is. I wouldn't have to go in depth of the definition of the word to use it. But, you know, our lab definitely was in Ken's backyard. It was a screened-in porch. We went and we dug out all the trash that was back there, and that was our laboratory. That's where we practiced at. That's where we did all our Obsession 2 creation.
We called it getting in the lab. You know, back then we had beepers and, you know, pages or whatever. And, you know, back then we were getting in the lab like, man, we cutting all this stuff off. I'm working right now. Your lady, your girlfriend know what's going on. You know, hey, this is it. I'm in the lab. I can't talk right now. And the lab could be anywhere from 2 hours to maybe about 5 or 6 hours. You trying to get it in. You trying to make sure everything looks right.
Getting in the lab is just going over somebody's house. Obviously, at that age, somebody's mama's house, and practicing. Getting in the lab is just practicing, coming up with your routine, refining your routine. That's getting in the lab.
Already pretty much doing it in the Atlanta side, Southwest Atlanta side of town. They were already doing it, and those cats came from that side of town. We brought it to Decatur, and then we started building from there. People started seeing us and started getting groups and things of that nature. They were tripping because, again, we came from the breakdancing style of dance to street dance, and it caught fire quick. People were like, okay, this is something different, because it was together. It was certain moves that we would do that would get, you know, the girls excited, and the guys would be tripping like, man, I want to do this. Let's get our own group together. So when we brought it was myself, Scotty Thomas, who was like my mentor. He taught me how to pop and start. He got me pretty much introduced to the style of dancing as well. And you know, it was a few other dudes, Craig, Ellis, Brian, and you know, we started that thing at Columbia Talent Shows, and then from that it grew to, you know, several other opportunities that came along that just changed the game from what people seeing it now.
Skate. This what started everything, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I remember this girl named Shavika. Her name was Tink. I had a crush on her, whatever. She tried to show me how to skate, which is one of the primary moves of this dance form. She tried to show me how to skate, and it was the most complicated thing I had ever seen. Like, I couldn't get it. Like, now, you know, I've skated a trillion times, so it's a joke now. It's so simple. But when I was in the 7th grade then, and she was trying to show me how to skate, I'm like, what the hell? To skate is the primary move. It's the layup of this style of dancing. It's the basic. If you can't do that, you don't. It's a rap, you know. Like I mean, I don't even have the words to put onto it in terms of how important that move is. That move, because this is a dance form that was in large part born out of the skating ring. You can't underestimate how important that move is. You know what I'm saying? It's a simple move. It's complicated for me to learn in the 7th grade, but at any rate, it's a simple move. But it's the meat and potatoes of it. You know, of the style.
You ask G what is a skate, he'll tell you that a skate is actually a move that came from being on skates in a skating ring. So back in the day when people used to be on skates, they used to roll and step back and roll and step back. And then when it came to dancing without the skates, and we still would want to skate, a skate is like the number one basic move to this whole style. So it's so many different variations of a skate. But if you get everybody that was a part of this movement in the room and you told them to skate, everybody would start off and just hit and come back. Everybody would do that. That's the basic skate that everybody would do.
Skate is more like, you know, of course they came from skating, you know, from the skating ring. And we used to see like the different groups together, they doing little stuff on skates and the line, and then little routines together. And I was more like when you step and you slapping that knee, you come back around, and then you kind of go whatever other movement you want to go into from there. And usually it was more like a, what I call more like a 3-step movement. It came towards like a turn, or 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. It was almost like, I know pretty much what we did was like a lot of 3-step moves back then. We did that then. So that's where it came from for me as far as what I gathered.
A skate is basically taken from skating. You know, when you're out on the roller rink and it's a move that they do when they're skating, we just took that move and brought it out of the skates onto the floor, and it transitioned so well that, you know, you could skate into any dance. At that time, you could skate into any dance move that you wanted or that we created, and you know that, you know, we skated pretty much into every move at that time. You know, so that's pretty much where the origin of the skate came from. It came from roller skating. It came from, you know, being out of jelly beans out on the west side. So, you know, they took, you know, the guys that really invented the skate, you know, that they came out them skates and brought it into, you know, onto the floor.
Okay, so we were talking about skating, how that's the layup of the style, the meat and potatoes of the whole dance style. But to me personally, this is my personal opinion, transforming is the genius of the dance style. You know what I'm saying? Man, I don't remember when I first seen transforming, but I can tell you this, I was blown away. Because, like you said, it even goes deeper than that. I think it just shows the genius and the creativity of just black people, period. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, everybody loved the Transformers cartoon at that time. All races and, you know, ages, etc. Like, it was just that shit at that time. The toys, all the, you know, I mean, they got the $1 million movies a day, so that shows you, you know, what kind of significance it had in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? But for some guys to look at a cartoon and make a dance style, okay. See, here's the thing. The Transformers, a cartoon that you had robots that transform themselves into different objects, cars, planes, whatever. That's genius in and of itself. But for somebody to look at that and turn it into a dance style, I don't even have the words to describe like just how raw that is. You know what I'm saying?
That came about, like you said, from just, you know, cartoons and different things that we would see on TV. We would just, okay, let's see how we can make this make sense with what we're doing as far as the dance. And so, you know, transforming, we would transform, you know, we'll turn somebody around, sit them on a knee, transform their body, break their shoulder down, bring it down, bring it back. I mean, it was just, you know, you wanted to transform into something, you know, you wanted to be that little puppet, or it could be, you know, just different things that you could do with the transforming, you know, that, you know, turning your head and just, you know, it was just so much you could do with that transforming. And a lot of people, you know, took it and did amazing things with it. I mean, it was such a style that you could create whatever with it. You know what I mean? You use your mind with it. You know what I'm saying? You could be a car with it. You could transform into a car and float, you know, and do different. I mean, it was just so much you could do with that style. It was just, it was incredible. And when you had guys that was on the same page and was doing it alike, man, it was magic. You know, it was on a whole nother level with it.
Got more to turn the head and pulling it out and doing whatever else you do. Your different movements that come with it.
I mean, transforming, man, as the years went by, it just got really crazy, you know. The beginning, you know, the first guy just slid across the stage and you just turned his head and shoulders, but later on, when it just got to go through the whole body, it just, I mean, you just got creative with it, and transform was, you just sitting there looking at it like, man, I don't even know what to move. I mean, transform was, it was huge.
Because you can transform yourself, you know, you transform your head, you know, blah, blah. But I think it was at its awesomest when one dude transformed another dude. Like, that's, come on, like, even now, that shit just still, when I think about it, it just, come on, man, I can't.
Transforming is more like, in layman terms, just say two people, and the person in the back is controlling the person in the front. So it is a situation where it's kind of real puppetry, or like a Muppet, but.
So, I mean, just coming on that puppet, man, I went really into the puppet like that.
Kool-Aid tripping. You know what I'm saying? He tripping.
One word to describe it, man, was what you call it, yeek. Yeek is the word, man. Yeek is like the nail in the coffin. You do what you do, and then when you yeek, you just show everybody what you can do.
Think of Mortal Kombat. And think of you on a video game and you beat somebody, and the first thing it says when you beat is now finish him. And you got to put in your code to have a finishing move. A yeek was an exclamation point. It was a finishing move. It was a crowd pleaser. It was anything that would arouse the crowd to let them know, to put a statement on whatever you just did. It was definitely an aggressive move. Just as important as a skate or transform, you would never see anybody do a routine without yeeking. And that, a lot of Atlanta crews would definitely yeek. Decatur crews wouldn't yeek as much in a routine as far as a display routine for a talent show. But Atlanta crews were so aggressive in their style that they would put a yeek in their routine. And it was definitely something that you would do at the club. I mean, if I'm dancing against you, you gonna yeek me up and I'm gonna yeek you up, and you know, maybe it's about who had the hardest yeek, but it's, you know, you can do anything before the yeek. You can even mess up. But once you get to that yeek, you don't even have to be a dancer. But everybody knows when you turn that head and turn them shoulders, everybody knows what's coming next. They know you're about to yeek.
It's kind of the finishing move, you know what I'm saying? Or like Mortal Kombat finishing. Like, it's like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you end off, you know, if you soloing, you know what I'm saying? You do your little routine, and that's how you end it off. You shake it off, and, you know, yeet, and everybody, and it got to the point where it's like, the crowd knows when it's coming, so they can yell out yeet. You know what I'm saying? Like, they watch you do your move, and then they know when that part is coming, so everybody can yell out yeet. It's like, come on, yo, yeah. I didn't think about that too. Yeah, you know how they say, like, when, you know, a guy gets dumped on, they say, you know, you getting posterized. Don't let a dude, you know, yeek on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you battling a dude, and you know he get all in your face, and he transforming himself, and blah blah blah, and you know he spin around or do whatever he do, and then just all in your face, just yeet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really just got shitted on. You know what I'm saying?
That yeek, that was your finishing. That was the finishing move. When you yeeked it up, that you let people know that move that came before that you was gonna bring it home with a yeek that was gonna shake the shoes off of anybody that was in front of you. You could transform that thing 3 stage, yeet, and you got 5 or 6 guys saying it like that. It made people turn around like, okay, all right. So I mean, I'm about to step my game up now, and when I come back, I'm about to yeek you up better. You know what I mean? So that's how that yeet. The yeet was just a staple end to that move that you just previously did. You were building up into that yeet. And when you yeet, you better come with it. You know, there was some weak yeeks out there. I'm talking about some weak yeeks. We used to be looking like, really? Really?
Yeet pretty much, I know from what I gathered, and from what I kind of still think about now, yeet was pretty much how you ended the whole thing that you was doing. So it's pretty much from you skating to you transforming or jumping around, doing whatever the moves you do, and you transforming, you're building up for that climax to where you just get yeet. So you're skating, you're doing a little move, you turn, whatever, and you're coming back and they do whatever, and then you're building up, and the whole crowd, and you build up and you're waiting. As soon as they see you do this, they know it's coming. And so when you do this thing right here, and you take them 2 steps, then you can catch it. That was it. Or sometimes they do it, catch it, turn, you look around, then you know. And so the whole crowd knew what was coming up. So I mean, if you're doing your thing during a whole dance routine, and you keep the crowd's attention the whole time throughout the routine, and you pretty much know that you have the crowd's attention because they're talking to you, and they be like They see you still coming with it, you still bring your thing, they still with you. As soon as you get ready to bring that thing together, you know, everybody holler. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it's quiet, you ain't do something right, bro. you missed it somewhere.